How are you all doing? Yes, it's another up you o'clock time. It's so good to be here. I'm sure you guys know I enjoy coming here. Okie dokie. We are just going to start in a bit. So, welcome again and welcome. I love having you. Please keep coming in and let's get it started. Yep. It's a beautiful morning from here. The sun is up and it's not very harsh. How is it treating you your end? Yeah. Yes. Okay. As you all know, this is Up You with Ezinne, a space where we pause, reflect, and rise. I am your host, Ezinne Kufurekane, and I'm truly glad that you're listening today, So this year, our word is alignment. Yes. No hustle, not noise, not pressure. Did I say no hustle? No, I meant not hustle, not noise, and not pressure. The word is alignment. Because when life feels heavy and confusing or unproductive, it's often not because we are incapable. It is because something is out of alignment. Most of the time, something is not aligned. And today's conversation is a powerful one because we are starting where alignment must always begin, from within, from you, from myself, from all of us. Our theme today is alignment begins from me. As always, you can find us on all social media platforms. Please make sure you connect and take the nuggets that you need to run your life. We bring you the best of women, and they give you the best of lived experiences for you to use and run. It's always good to run faster when you're perched on the shoulders of giants. One thing you can say for sure for this show is that we always bring giants as our guests. Okay? All righty, come in, welcome. Welcome. Don't forget to like the stream, share the stream, and bring in all your female folks. And we want the men even because they will learn a thing or two, listening to us today. So if you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne, and we are live. We live in a world that constantly tells us what to fix. If you stroll on the streets of social media and even in your real life experiences, you're constantly being told what to fix. The government, the system, the economy, leadership, institutions, you're constantly being asked to fix something. But rarely do we pause long enough to ask, am I aligned? Are my values aligned with my work? Is my vision aligned with my daily decisions? Because the truth is, misaligned people create misaligned systems. The reason why things don't work is that the people who are creating it for us are misaligned. And aligned people, they build clarity, they build consistency, and they build lasting impact. I'm sure you prefer to be aligned than misaligned. Okay? And that's why today our guest is so fitting. Our guest is so fitting, and you find out in a minute who she is and what she's about. Just hold on while I bring her on and introduce her properly. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezinne. So I was talking about our guest and how fitting she is. So I'm going to introduce her properly in a moment. Joining me today is Dr. Adesuwa Erediauwa, an economist and senior research fellow at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. She heads the Bashir Adeniyi Center for International Trade and Investment, where she leads work on trade facilitation, investment promotion, and evidence-based policy advisory, strengthening Nigeria's competitiveness and Africa's economic integration under the African Continental Free Trade Area. With over a decade of experience across teaching, research, and policy engagement, Dr. Erediauwa bridges academia, government, and the private sector, designing, training programs, facilitating high-level dialogues, and shaping conversations that move from theory to impact. She's also the editor of BACITI Economic Insight, a bi-weekly publication offering data-driven perspectives on Nigerian economic and trade trends. Her research spans AFTA, implementation, ECOWAS integration, industry productivity, and the political economy of trade and investment. And at the heart of her work is a deep commitment to Africa's economic transformation. Dear everyone, world over, please join me to welcome the one and only phenomenal Dr. Adesuwa to Up You with Ezinne today. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good morning, Ezinne. Thank you for having me. Amazing work you're doing, and thank you for introducing me in such a likewise amazing manner.
You are actually super amazing. So I haven't said anything I shouldn't have said. And it's actually a pleasure and my deep, deep, deep honor to have you on the show today.
Likewise.
Good. If I start to read her profile, we will not get the show done. So that's why I did the abridged version. Please go on all our social media platforms and read about this phenomenal woman. In fact, when I saw the profile, I'm like, all that was getting in my head, a woman, she's a woman. And I told you guys that we always bring the best of the best. So please make sure you go and read the full thing. So, but let's just get the show going. Today, Dr. Adesuwa, we're talking about yeah, she doesn't want to talk about herself. I know that's what happens to great people. Okay. So today we're talking about alignment that begins with you. Could you please set the stage for us and our viewers by telling us your understanding of that word alignment?
Alignment, very, very important, very essential word. Simply, I put it simply, alignment is coherence. It is beyond, it's beyond agreement. It's more of, there could be agreement. There's that popular saying, let's agree to disagree. That's not alignment, right? So alignment is coherence. Coherence between the internal and the external. If I want to put it simply. Coherence between the internal and the external. What's the internal? Coherence between your thoughts, your beliefs, your identity, your purpose. That's the internal. And the external. That's your work, your postures, your actions, your activities. That's alignment is coherent. It's the state where what you believe, what you prioritize, what you are pursuing is not in conflict with, all these things are not in conflict with one another. In simple terms, that's alignment, coherence.
Wow. Thank you very much. It's amazing what the word means until you begin to talk about it with other people and they bring their perspective and then you begin to say, aha, and you start nodding your head like the Agama lizard I've been doing since we've been talking. Coherence really sits very well. Yeah, when everything you're doing is in congruence, is coherent within and outside. Okay, so now that we have set the stage, and this is the premise on which we're going, I'm going to start asking you my questions. So you've walked across academia, government, and policy spaces. From what you've observed, how does lack of personal alignment show up in leadership and decision making?
Okay, so first of all, personal alignment is, that coherence in your own values, in your own thoughts, when what you believe inside matches how you live, right? So how does it show up in leadership? So the thing with leadership and institutions is that institutions and organizations, they don't run themselves, right? They don't run themselves. So that's where the leader comes in, and that's why leadership is very important. And so when there is misalignment, personal misalignment in the leader, it reflects in their job, whatever it is. It reflects in their output. So when a leader lacks, for example, the purpose and the clarity of purpose, it reflects. There is disconnect, there is confusion, there is conflict, and essentially the goal of the institutions are not easily met. So misalignment in the leader would disrupt the institutional or organizational goal, because you're speaking about leadership, and leadership speaks to organization. So one is not, you're not speaking about personal leadership. So you're leading an organization, you're leading people, you're leading a project where there's misalignment with the leader. It reflects in the organization, because the organization does not lead itself. It's the leader, the organization carries the imprints of the personality of the leader. And that's theory, actually. That's science.
Oh, wow, that's science. That's good to know.
Yes.
So yeah, you've introduced another word here, which I want to assume is the opposite of alignment. You've talked about misalignment, and then you've made us to understand that organizations don't run themselves, they're run by people. So if these people are not aligned, if they are misaligned in themselves, in their personal statement and mission and vision, then they will not be able to run the organizations effectively. That's what you said, right? Okay, so
Yes,
what
yes,
does
yes.
I'm gonna what does misalignment look like in a person's career or leadership journey? And is it possible for someone to be successful yet deeply misaligned?
I'll start from the bottom. Yes, there can be success without misalignment. And first of all, we have to define the definition of success. Is really broad based, but let's leave that aside. There certainly is success without without alignment, and that is misalignment. And misalignment is where there's no, like you mentioned, congruence, or there's no internal coherence. So you see people who are successful in your own eye, but inside there's a restlessness. I think that's the key word. That restlessness, that confusion. And the confusion blocks progress. But the person is successful, right? So how is it blocking progress? It's internal. You see that the person is not satisfied with their success, or does not think they're successful, or is, let me use the Gen Z word, people who are successful but appear to be haters. That word hating. And you look at them, the outputs, the organization, whatever they've done, their success, and you're wondering, you think everything is all rosy, and you're wondering, why will the person be a hater? Because there's no alignment, because there's no match between their core, their beliefs, their thoughts, and there's no deep meaning, no purpose to their success. That's another thing. So they may be successful materially, they may even be successful, in people, but there's no deep meaning or core purpose to all that they've achieved. And there will be that gap. There's still a wanting of more.
Thank you
There's
very
still a
much.
lack.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Up You with Ezinne. Dr. Adesuwa, you have just hit the nail on the head, and you've spoken directly to the reason why we exist. And when I say why we exist, I mean the Up You Women Empowerment Foundation. Because we found out during a series of research that a lot of women who who are actually successful, by any measure of any measurement system that we use. They are thriving in their careers. They are homemakers. They have good standing in the society, and they are spiritually aware. We found out that most of them have an empty core, basically, because along the line somewhere they lost themselves. They started chasing the suit and the glass ceiling and became misaligned with their dreams, or they allowed society to talk to them or tell them this is what to fix and this is not what to fix. But deep down, they were misaligned. And that's how we came about, because we wanted to say to ourselves, go back to finding yourself, go back to finding your core, go back to finding your reason, your purpose. Our payoff line is finding self and finding purpose. Because if you're not aligned, whatever it is you're chasing, you might get it, but you will feel that discomfort. So I'm really very happy that you hit it on the nail. Yeah. So let's bring this thing down to Nigeria and Africa. How much of Africa's slow policy execution is about systems? Because most times, or let's even say Nigeria, most times people say, look, our systems don't work, and all of that. We complain all the time. And how much is it about mindset? How much is it about values? How much is it about leadership alignment?
Not be numerical terms, but it's foundational. Just play, there's a huge role in Africa, the way Africa is, and where Africa wants to be, where we want to be as a continent. So there's this shared commitment among Africans that we want to do better, we want to be better, we want to develop, we want welfare for.
Okay, let me add her back. We lost her earlier, but she's right back here. So everybody, please stay with us. This is Up You with Ezinne. She's right back here. Well, yes, go ahead, Adesuwa. Yes, we can hear you. Yes. Yes, you're back. Yes, you are. Welcome back, you're back. Okay, she's gone again. Please stay with us. Let me find her and then bring her back in. Welcome back, Adesuwa. Can you hear me? Adesuwa was just speaking to us on Adesuwa was just speaking to us on our systems and our mindsets and our values as Africans, as Nigerians. And I'm trying to get her back to come and continue, because that is very key to everything that we are and everything that we wish to become. So please stay with us. Get ready your questions, and so that you can ask your questions of Adesuwa.
Am I back? Do you hear me?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. Please go ahead. You want me to take the question again?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
About Nigeria, Africa mindset, right?
Yeah.
Mindset and Africa's development. And today, majorly, when we speak about Africa's development, we can't speak about it to a large extent as an economist. We can't, and in a world that is founded on industrialization and trade and economic power, we can't speak about Africa's development without the African Union's African Continental Free Trade area. When we speak about the African Union, Pan-Africanism, and African development, it's founded on industrial development, economic growth, and all of that advancement. And trade is a key instrument for that, which is why the African Union's AFCF, African Continental Free Trade Area, is vital, because individually, Africa can't go far, because initially Africa was, dissected. Collectively, there's a collective goal that Africa needs to put together to progress. There's that collective, because we have shared colonial experiences. I mean, we're Africa, we're supposed to be together. But because there's misalignment, where does misalignment come from? So let's look at Nigeria. Misalignment may come from a lack of coherence between policy goals, and the welfare of the people. Policy goals, economic development plans, and all of those grand ideas must reflect in the welfare of the people. They must give people, it must give all people the opportunities, the freedoms to be. So do people have the freedom, does the young girl have the freedom to go to school? You may say, yes, she has the freedom, but the freedom is in the capabilities. Like, is it possible? Is there free education if she's come from a poor background? So those policies must give people freedoms. I've used the example of the young girl. How about the young graduate? If he chooses to work and not build a business, does he have the freedom to do so? Will he get a job? If he chooses to build a business and not seek employment, are there opportunities? Is there freedom to do so? Is there infrastructure? Is there energy? Is there electricity? So policy, development goals and plans, economic, national goals, plans, and all of those things must align with, are aligned when the welfare of the people is improved or is improving. So back to the AFCFTA that I was talking about, and the AFCFTA is a symbol of, African development today and tomorrow. Back to the AFCFTA, where the AFCFTA is an agreement that all 54 leaders of Africa must agree with. So the AFCFTA is just an agreement. Behind that agreement are people. Behind that agreement are leaders. Behind the agreement are individuals, ministers, people that have to make it work, and they must all be aligned, if I can put it that way. If they don't believe in integration, that's the coming together, then the agreement, which is grand, which is fantastic, which is a great idea, may not be able to work. So the individual support must come. If the individual support doesn't come from the leaders, progress will be slow. The agreement does. When we're speaking about African integration, it's not it's the people. And so, is there that grand idea? Is it backed by among the individual leaders? Is it backed by the support? Do they all want the same thing? They all claim to want the same thing, but there must be that collective alignment. And you said something about mindset. It was about mindset. So as Africans, as Nigerians, we must have that mindset of progress, collective progress. It's very important. I hope
very much, Adesuwa. Yes, thank you. Yes, you did justice to that. And I heard you saying that we, as Africans, we must have to come together. We cannot be in silos and expect to achieve the objectives of AFTA, for instance. But could you tell me, why is it important to start the conversation from me, before talking about national or continental alignment? Because you did say that the leaders must come together, So why is it important?
The alignment starts from the individual. From me, alignment begins with me. So now we're speaking about Africa. Whatever it is, you're in a leadership position, if it's business, if it's African integration, African development. If a person, an individual, is not aligned, and the leaders are key in this conversation, if our leaders don't have personal alignment, if alignment don't start with them, there's confusion. Lack of alignment leads to confusion. When there's confusion, progress cannot be made. There's no progress that can be achieved. So the alignment starts with each and every one of us. As Nigerians with civic duty, we are told when we're learning about our civic duty that we're responsible to it begins with us. Making our country better begins with the individual. And I would say that that's to a very large extent why we are not seeing the progress that we want. Many people would say, oh, the popular opinion is, oh, leadership. But what is leadership? Everybody is a leader. Begin by leading yourself. When you can lead yourself, to have the alignment with yourself where your thoughts and your beliefs, your ideas, for example, for instance, about your country, align with your actions. So then we'll begin to see progress. Now, a person who has this posture where his thoughts, beliefs, purpose about the country, about the state, aligns with his action. So first of all, defines his purpose, his ideas. What is the definition? I want to see country succeed above me succeeding. Country must succeed above me. If that's your idea, that's your belief, and that's your purpose as a leader, serving, or as a person, serving the interest of the nation, the action should follow, and that's alignment. So what's the action that will follow? In all my dealings, I'm not going to do anything to harm state, country. And country begins with people, so it's in the dealings with people. I hope I'm not rambling away from the question. So yes,
No, you're not.
Alignment begins with the individual. Alignment begins with the individual, not just the individual holding a position of authority, like the leaders in the different levels, judicial, grassroots, and everywhere. It begins with the individual on the street who has a civic duty and responsibility to the nation. And so where there's that misalignment, there is no progress. Where there is no alignment, there's confusion, and where there's confusion and inconsistency, progress cannot be recorded.
I love that. I love that last phrasing. Where there is no alignment, there is confusion, and where there is confusion, progress cannot be recorded. We don't need to look too far. If our society is confused, we just know that a lot of things are misaligned, and it starts with us not being aligned. I like the fact that you took us back to when we were in secondary school learning civics. You know, when they said it's country first, and then you must be a good citizen and put your country above yourself. Now let's drill down to women. Like I told you earlier, um, most women in demanding careers um, they're successful, but are misaligned. So how do they begin to check whether their ambition is aligned with their purpose, so that they can have, coherence, like you said in the beginning?
Coherence is very important, like I said. So women, how can women check that they're aligned? The first thing is they may be successful and all of that background. But what is the motive? So to check that alignment is motive. What's the motive? Why am I going ahead with this undertaking or this project? What is the motive for us? What is the motive for you? You're a career woman, you're doing really good, or you want to start off with a new project. What is the motive? When the motive is misplaced, it's difficult to achieve alignment. Am I doing this because, yes, am I doing this because it's trending? Am I trying to prove anyone wrong or right? sometimes that sounds noble. Oh, I'm trying to prove people wrong. And in some quarters, we see that it has pushed people to achieve something. Like we said, there's success, but there's no alignment because, oh, somebody said this or that, and I want to prove them wrong. And that is enough drive to make them achieve that success. But that's the type of success that doesn't come with satisfaction because the motive was to prove another person wrong. But hey, were you successful or not? You were successful. But is there alignment? Is there inner success or inner peace? There's none because there's no alignment because of the motive. So back to your question, women need to check their motives. What's pushing them? What's driving them? They need to define their purpose. They need to define their identity. A woman with ambition is not a bad thing, but what is the motive behind it? Yeah, and why do I really want this thing? Why do I really want to do it? Is it that I don't want to be left behind? I've seen that there are women who push themselves. They push themselves in every way, in everything, in parenting, in their career, in their personal lives. They are pushing themselves not because the work they are doing fulfills them, but because they are trying to meet up to some certain standard that somebody else has set. Somebody has defined them, and they're trying to meet up with the expectations of another person's definition. So start by defining yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, your identity, and all of those things that are important to you, and then work in alignment with that. Something again, because women's affairs is very important, and that's what UpU is about. I want to just add that that's true authenticity. You know, authenticity is a word that is being thrown around a lot lately. And people
New
think
buzzword.
buzzword. People think it's being real. Authenticity is not really about being real. Authenticity begins with alignment. That's authenticity. Alignment. Yeah, that's authenticity. You're authentic when you can, in your dealings, whatever it is. We mentioned parenting. So let's stay with parenting, maybe even, or it could be relationships, since we are talking about women. What is your vision for your child or for your family or for your marriage? You have thoughts. You may not even have a vision written down, but you have thoughts, you have ideas, you have the things that resonate with you internally, right? But then externally, there are some written rules and definitions. Oh, a woman must do this. Oh, a man must be this. Oh, your child must not talk back at you. I'm going to shake the table.
Please go ahead. That's what we do here.
Your child must not talk back at you, right? And so if you're in public or somewhere, maybe your home, but there's a third party and your child talks back at you, because of those definitions that have been stated by another person, you want to now, hey, will you come back here? You don't want to attack the child.
You want to do the African mama.
Yes, you're doing it for the benefit of the person sitting there.
Audience.
The audience. And then you are generating strife with your child because your child doesn't know that you're acting according to somebody else's playbook. They're going to respond. So that response and counter response that leads to strife and conflict and drives the wedge between you and your family, all because you're not aligned with how you see. Generally, your thoughts and your ideas, remember, this is a vision you've not written down to say, oh, I'm not averse to my child speaking back because I want my children to have a voice, be able to speak. I want to hear them. They're humans too, and sometimes they may. So you're playing to somebody else's playbook with regards to parenting, and you're driving a wedge between you and your child. And you know, these things, when they're done, it's more difficult to undo them. So that conflict has occurred with your child because of that's misalignment, that's confusion, no progress. I think it's clear.
Thank you very much. You just took me back a long, many years ago
Yeah, so
when
sorry, I talked about shaking the table. Shaking
yes,
the
go
table
ahead.
is, I'm okay with my child talking back to me. There's nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong because that's my own idea. So the next
Of how
mom,
to raise my
I'm
child.
I'm okay about throwing tantrums. Let's not go into the science of why tantrums are not good. I have my ways of dealing with tantrums so that my child grows up to be a child. But it will not bring conflict between my child and I just because I want to please the audience.
Thank you very much. Like I was saying, you just took me back many years ago. I remember when my daughter was growing up, a friend of mine came to visit us, and we were conversing in the living room, and my daughter was chipping into the conversation. This friend said absolutely nothing, but she went to our BlackBerry group then. It was when we used to use BlackBerry. So we had a group, and then one day we were discussing parenting, and then she goes like, "Oh, parents should be able to make their children not join into conversations that is not theirs. I mean, that is so rude for two adults to be having a conversation and a child just says something." And I jumped right out and said, "Call my name when you're saying that, because that's exactly what happened when you came to visit." I said,
So
"That's
we
where I
need to
want to
be
raise my
aligned in
child.
our
I want her to be comfortable."
relationships.
Yes, I said I want her to be comfortable around adults and to have conversations. And at that point, what the future was going to be look like for her, or what profession she was going to go into, she was pretty little. But I think all of that gave her confidence now to be able to go take her world and excel in it. You're very correct. We should be aligned to who we are, what we want, and not let people tell us what to fix. Remember, that's what I said in the beginning. The society, the world, everyone just wants you to fix one thing. But you're the one who knows whether fixing that thing will align with what you carry on the inside, like thoughts, like you've mentioned.
Yep.
So thank you for shaking the table. It will
You're
send us
welcome.
back to
Thank
asking ourselves, where are we misaligned? Where have we danced to the public instead of dancing to the internal rhythm of our own thoughts and our own lives? Thank you, Dr. Adesuwa.
you.
Please, could you give us some practical steps, because we're coming to a close? I know you have to be somewhere else at 11. Could you give us some practical steps, someone can take this year to realign mentally, professionally, and economically? We want women to be aligned so that we don't have too many outbursts this year. 2025 was a lot. 2025 was a lot, especially on the streets of social media. Women were just going boom, 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 busting like I don't even know what. So, and that's also a sign of misalignment. Something is not aligning somewhere. Could you give us some practical steps, so that this 2026 we are all aligned and we are moving in one accord? Yes, as women.
Thank you. Thank you for that. But when you say practical steps, well, it's not going to be a lot of
Maybe
steps.
one or two
It's
things
going to
that
be
we can
one.
begin to do
Yeah,
that can help us.
it's one fundamental thing. It starts with going inside. You have to all go
Ooh,
inside if you want. If you're talking about economically, mentally, professionally, in every way, you go inside first. You go inside first. You go inside first. So depending on, so let's talk about it personally. You have to pause. Pause. To go inside, you pause first. Slow down enough to reflect and audit priorities. Speaking personally, check what's important to you as a person. Alignment requires you to be honest. It requires honesty, and in a sense, maybe that's why at the beginning of the year, a lot of people maybe retreats and all of that. But are we doing that correctly? So you must. The first step is to pause as a person, slow down, reflect, use honesty everywhere, all through.
thank you, Dr. Joshua. As you were talking, the moment you said go inside, I went, inside where? Inside of yourself, or inside your house, or inside the church?
I miss that. Go inside of yourself. Personally speaking, are you? Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, I
So
can.
if we're saying personal, go inside your thoughts. Whatever it takes for you to pause and go into your thoughts, reflect on your journey, on your priorities, on your beliefs and your ideas. That's going inside. Going inside is defining it for yourself based on your beliefs and not allowing external forces define it for you. If we're speaking professionally or economically, you also want to pause. Going inside means, for example, maybe if there are organizational goals that have been set, national economic development plans that have been put in place, you want to go back to the drawing board and audit the priorities. What are the things that we said are priorities in this organization and in this country? You want to audit that. You also want to apply honesty to this process, involve the stakeholders, speaking maybe organization or economically. Remember, you must do it as a person first, as an individual first, because alignment begins with me. It starts from me. So slow down enough to reflect, cut back on commitments that are not serving you or that are not serving the values or the goals of the organization. Be intentional about saying yes to work that reflects or that aligns with you, your skills or your convictions. If it's organization, your skills, or if it's personal, your convictions. Make small shifts, but small, consistent shifts that can be applied and scaled with time. So first of all, pause, go inside into your thoughts, if you're a person, into your vision, if it's an organization, if it's a nation, your development plans. What is this? What is Nigeria? What was the core that this nation was built on? What did we say, agree as a nation that we would prioritize? And then set your priorities, audit those priorities, reduce commitments that are not serving those core beliefs or priorities or ideas, and dilute the focus that has been spread about and bring it in. And then start slowly by cutting back on the commitments. That's a way of diluting and focusing on the things that focus on the things that you have identified you want to do.
Thank you very much. One fundamental thing about going inside from what you have said is being honest to yourself, speaking the truth to yourself. You may not be able to speak the truth to everyone at all the times, but you should be able to speak the truth to yourself. And that's when you find out, when you're speaking the truth to yourself, is when you're examining your life. And that's when you find out whether you are skilled for the things you even want to pursue, and whether you need to upskill, whether you need to learn, unlearn, or relearn. I am so happy that you broke it down like this. So it's easy for any woman to pick it up and apply to their lives. Thank you very much. Before I let you go, my final question to you would be, if there is just one mindset shift that a woman should do in this 2026, a woman who wants to grow, let me quantify it like that, in this 2026, what mindset shift would you recommend and why?
I would say stop prioritizing movement. Stop prioritizing motion. Stop prioritizing activity and busyness, and start prioritizing meaning, purpose. Prioritize meaning, purpose, vision. That's the mindset shift. Mindset shift from motion to meaning. From motion to meaning, from activity to meaning, from action to meaning. What was the second part of the question? And
I said, why? Why would you say this?
why? Yes, why? Why? Yeah, because that's where alignment comes from. That's where alignment comes from. Yeah? Meaning from purpose. Meaning, purpose will drive the action. The action, the meaning and the purpose. Right? Let's use the word purpose. Going to say meaning, right? I don't know if I'm losing anyone, but purpose. So Purpose will drive the action and the activity, and it will bring alignment, it will bring peace, it will bring progress, it will bring settlement. Be clear about why you're doing what you're doing, because when you know the why will drive the what. The why is the purpose, it will drive the what is the action or the motion or the activity. So the mindset shift is move from motion to meaning, from activity and action to purpose, and let the purpose or the meaning drive the action or the activity, so that you can be aligned, you can be at peace.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adesuwa. I'm trying to see, there's so many comments on the stream, and I want to see, just before you run off, if anybody is asking you to say anything. Oh, no. Okay. So they are actually just reiterating all the points you've made. Go inside. You see how key that was? Everybody is just talking about it. Go inside, go inside. I wish we had more time. I'm going to have to call upon you some other time, because this conversation is far from finished. You have a lot to tell us. You have a lot to teach us. So please, when I come calling again, do say yes. I'm going to respect your time, because I know you need to be somewhere else. And I'm going to say thank you so much for coming today on the show and for telling us today that alignment is cohesion. And that means cohesion from the inside onto the outside. And that means going into ourselves. If I don't know why I'm just seeing the image of a catapult. You know, you have to pull it back inside, then you unleash it. You know, so I don't know why that image is in my head. As you're just talking, I'm like, okay, yeah, this must be the same kind of thing. So thank you so much for awakening us. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, it's just profound. Your illustration with the catapult. You gotta go back, because if you stay at that level, you don't go too far. But when you go back, you go farther with more purpose. You know, you move in the right direction. Yeah. When the direction is clear, growth is sustainable.
Thank you very much. There's so many key things, and we're going to put it there. Somebody please help me put on the screen. When the direction is clear, growth becomes sustainable. Yeah. One thing I've learned today again myself is that alignment is not something we outsource. Nobody can come and align you. You must have to align yourself, you know, and it starts from us. Yeah, it starts from us. So once we fix ourselves, then we're the ones that will now go to the institutions where we work, you know, go to those establishments, and then it's easier to fix it. You know, they say hurting people hurt others. People who are aligned make aligned policies and execute aligned strategies. Then we're able to align our families, we align our workplaces, we align our local governments, we align our communities, we align our country, and the world itself becomes aligned. I do not know how this thing dropped into our consciousness this year, but what I know this year is that everything we're looking for is all already inside of us. We've done so much, we've achieved so much. All we need to do is to now go back, like Doctor has said, inside of us and find a congruence. Get everything together. They're all in bits and pieces. Bring it all together and cause it to come into alignment so that you execute for growth, so that you're not running around circles. Doctor said, don't misconstrue movement for actual growth or for success. You can just be going round and round and round and round. You're very active everywhere, but you're really not fulfilling purpose, and you're really not, you know, doing something that satisfies your being as a human being. Your being as a human being sounds like tautology, but then I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I love the fact that you give the up you sign all the time, Doc.
Yeah,
thank you
I'm
so
learning
much.
a lot as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, wow, I'm so humbled.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh, you don't even have an idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening. We'll continue the conversation. You know how we do it. So Keep putting your comments in the sessions and I'll come back to you. And of course, you can go and rewatch on all our channels. And then we're going to cut little clips for you as well, so you can get all the important things that Doctor said today. One thing I want everyone to go out of here with is alignment begins with me. So for every area of your life where you feel some kind of misalignment, where you feel that there is dissonance, where you do not feel peace, begin to examine that area until you find the missing link. Like a puzzle, once you fit it in, you become aligned, and then you see that you're in a flow. You just go. It's so easy at that point. Even if they say Nigeria is falling apart, which it will not, you will just be in a flow because you are aligned with your purpose and all your abilities and capabilities are aligned, and so you will succeed. So thank you so much. Please share the episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, our Align webinar is coming up on the 25th of January. Yeah, 25th of January at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7 p.m. We have the delectable, very, 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 very intelligent Dr. Ebere Njoku coming to talk to us about alignment starts within. Ebere is going to wrap up everything that we've said this month and more. And guess what? My workbook, the 30 Days Alignment Challenge, is there for you to grab for free. So long as you're attending that webinar, we're giving it to you free so that you can take yourself through the process of going through 30 days. It takes 21 days for something to become a habit. And then we're going to give you an extra 9 days, stuff that you can do to get yourself fully aligned. They said if you're going to war, take all the time to prepare. You can take 1 month to actually prepare, and then you leave the remaining 11 months. You're on a cruise, and then everything is aligning and falling into place for you. So make sure you register for the webinar and then look out for the free ebook. Okay, look out for the free ebook, which we are offering you for free. Okay, like I said, Dr. Bere is already getting ready. She's watching everything we're doing and she's getting ready to speak to us on January 25. So tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a sister to tell a sister, tell a woman to tell a woman. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you at our inaugural webinar. Yeah, we have to let Dr. Adesuwa go now because she's needed somewhere else. Dr. Adesuwa, thank you so much.
Thank you
Everyone
so
from
much.
Dr. Adesuwa and myself,
Thank
is
you.
up to you until we come your way next week. Please pause, go inside, reflect, and choose alignment. My name is Ezinne and it's up to you. Bye for now.